So my name is Ciara Crossan, I run WeddingDates.ie, but breathe a sigh of relief, this is not a WeddingDates.ie sales pitch, so you can relax. Just want to take you back in time a little bit. At this conference 2 years ago, I hosted a talk about blogging and social media for hotels, and it was Damien Molly, the blogging guru, actually spoke at that event on my behalf, and at that time no hotels in the room were using Facebook to promote themselves. Hands up now, how many of you are using Facebook for your business? So no surprise there. You don't need me to tell you that social media is not a fad and it's here to stay. It has overtaken pornography as the #1 activity on the web, believe it or not. Facebook has close to 1 billion users worldwide and close to 2 million in Ireland. So nearly half the population of Ireland is on Facebook, and the fastest growing demographic within that is the over 55. So, and you know, I'm sure you've heard that stat before. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and Claire Walsh from Google was talking to us yesterday about how you can really use video. Twitter is alive and well, and not just in the tech community, as was evidenced by the recent general election. You know, Twitter was very, very important for getting the news out there, and you know, a lot of the media is on Twitter as well, so it's definitely alive and well. I suppose there's a phrase going around that in 2014 the social media bubble will have burst, and that's basically not saying that it's not going, it's going anywhere. Basically, it just means that you don't need a social media strategy or a digital marketing strategy. It's just going to be an overall communication strategy. It's not new media anymore, it's just media. It's here to stay, and you know, it's good to see that hotels have really embraced it. So that's just a bit of setting the scene. That's all the stuff that you already know. You really want me to talk about, you know, what are the upcoming trends and the technologies and how you can really embrace them for your own hotel. So the top trends as we see them, and I just have to give a hat tip here to Simply Zesty. They're an online digital marketing agency in Dublin. They wrote a blog post last week, and I pulled a couple of their ideas for this presentation, so a hat tip to them. I'm going to go through these 6 points in a little bit more detail, but this is basically the new trends as we see them. Mobile is at the heart of everything. There's a shift towards local. Reviews are going social. The advance of the app. Online video is continuing to explode, and Facebook is becoming ubiquitous. This isn't a case of just, you know, throwing out new buzzwords and jumping on the social media bandwagon, though. The things I talk about today are going to be really practical, and how these new technologies can be utilised throughout your hotel business, that's leisure, your business customers, and obviously your wedding business as well. Mobile is everywhere. I mean, they did show of hands yesterday of who has a smartphone. There's 1.2 to 1.3 million smartphones in Ireland right now. It's a huge amount. People are using apps every day. They're browsing online, they're watching videos, they're banking, they're blogging, they're booking travel, all from a handheld device. So what impact does that have on you and your hotel? First of all, this little symbol might be familiar to some of you. It's Facebook Places. This was just launched about a month ago by Facebook. You're obviously all using Facebook as a marketing tool, but Places is a really interesting development for physical properties like hotels. Essentially, people who walk into your hotel with a smartphone, they open Facebook, their GPS will detect where they are, and it will recognise your hotel as a location, and they can check in on Facebook using this. Now, they're not checking into your hotel, they're just basically registering with Facebook saying, I'm at the Slieve Russell Hotel, and then that gets put on their newsfeed, which goes out to all of their friends. So just for example, this morning, I checked into the Slieve Russell, I tagged my colleague Oti with me. My 550 friends are going to see that I'm at the Slieve Russell. Oti's 500 friends. That's 1,000 people that now know about the Slieve Russell. Now, okay, what's the benefit of that? You know, maybe limited, but again, it's branding. Why wouldn't you want to piggyback on this free marketing? Your customers are there and you're telling everybody where they are. It's getting your hotel name out there. So how can you encourage people to check into your hotel using Facebook Places? Well, Facebook being the marketeers that they are, they've come up with a clever way to do this. They've launched Facebook Deals. So it's a new way to connect with customers. So basically it encourages people to check in or tell all their friends that they're in your hotel by offering nice deals. You can offer deals or discounts. So for example, if somebody was sitting down having a coffee in the lobby, you might offer a deal if they check in on Facebook, they maybe get a free scone or something like that. There's really practical examples of that. Friend deals, basically that means when somebody checks in somewhere and tags their friends. So you could say, if there's a group of 10 people and they all check in on Facebook, so again you have to think of the network effect. If each of those 10 people have 2 or 3 or 4 or 500 friends and they're getting that message out there to all of them, maybe you give a pitcher of beer or you give something, a plate of nachos or something to that group if a certain number checks in. And then loyalty deals, that's if somebody's checking in regularly, and that's very similar to a traditional punch card, which we're all very familiar with that concept. So it's a really great way to encourage more people to check in your hotel using Facebook Places. This is the symbol. This is like a little polystyrene prop that we had made by a company in Dundalk called Made in Hollywood. We do have a few giveaways for the audience. So if any of you want some of these to display in your hotel, again, it's a visual aid that will help people think, oh, I'll check in. I've got some here for you afterwards if anybody wants one.
Can you link the places to your Facebook page?
Yes, you can. Yeah. It comes up. You can kind of own that place because so basically you register that. Sorry.
I'm trying to do it. I don't know.
You have to show Facebook a picture of a utility bill or something and say, okay, it's very new. So I mean, Facebook European headquarters are in Ireland. I'm sure they will. I don't know exactly who would be the best person, but I know that you can own an area, and then that's how you publish your deals because you're publishing to that Facebook place.
I'm the person that made the city Russell yesterday, wasn't here?
Yeah. So
like in the D where I'm from, there's 3 Ds now. So people have made it one different.
So you need to make the official one, and you need to offer the deals on that one, and people will start using it, and it will rise to the top the more that it's used. So that's how you kind of get over that issue. So then reviews, looking at social reviews and how reviews are going social. TripAdvisor, it's obviously very important to your business. It is becoming the bane of many hoteliers' lives. People are worried about negative reviews or fake reviews, maybe malicious ones by competitors. It's a huge issue. So an example in the UK of Duncan Valentine, the UK dragon, is actually in the process of suing TripAdvisor because of a fake review that was posted about one of his properties. So I do feel that TripAdvisor is slightly losing its credibility. There is a trend towards social reviews, and I'll explain what that is. I mean, there's a stat that says 70% of people trust reviews online from complete strangers. So that's TripAdvisor. So 70%, that's quite high. But 90% trust online reviews or recommendations from the friends in their own network. So that's the likes of somebody saying on Facebook, I'm at the City Russell Hotel and the beef was amazing last night or whatever. People would believe that more than something that they read from a stranger. So how do you, I suppose, leverage that? I mean, I'd be encouraging your visitors to leave you a review directly on your own website or on your own Facebook wall, as opposed to directing them to a third-party site. Again, immediate response is going to be important here. Before, with TripAdvisor, people had to log in once they got home after their visit, whereas now with smartphones, if you enable social reviews, they can actually leave you a review on their smartphone while they're standing in the lobby, while they're checking out. So again, it's more immediate. Just very briefly, about an Irish company. They're called Louder Voice. They basically power consumer reviews on a hotel website. Again, so aside from TripAdvisor, where you're not moderating them, you're moderating your own reviews there. You have your own right to reply. So they'll publish reviews on your own hotel website. But when somebody logs into Louder Voice to write a review, they register with their Facebook or their Twitter account. And once they write that review, it not only goes onto your hotel page on your hotel website, it will also get posted onto their Facebook or Twitter streams, so their friends will see it. So that's what we mean by social reviews. And then they also have a link onto your Facebook page, so then they'll put all of your reviews on a review tab on your Facebook wall as well. So it's a nice little example of an Irish company that actually is doing that, and we're actually partnering with Louder Voice to add reviews on wedding dates in the coming months as well. So it's an exciting development for us. for us too. So iPhones, this is our like iPhone prop. So just like McDonald's, coined the phrase, "Do you want fries with that?" Apple have actually trademarked the phrase. There's an app for that, and we all know there are hundreds and thousands of apps out there, and people are using them every day. What does that mean for your hotel? Some hotels are building their own iPhone apps, and there are a number of Irish hotels that do have them. They can be quite expensive to develop, and we'll be talking, upwards of 10 grand here. So, there's certainly a lot to think about there. I suppose you really have to question what's the value that it's adding to your hotel. If it's just your hotel's website on an app, why would you do that? Why would you? You're not giving any added value to someone to download an app if they can just go to your website on their smartphone anyway. You have to be doing a little bit more.
There's companies doing it for free, though, and just charge them really small.
Okay. I mean, again, I suppose you just have to think about the value. If it's just your website, why would somebody download that app? You're not giving them.
Just ask us, are they web apps or are they phone apps?
There are mobile apps for Android. The one thing about I have an app with Autopilot is it's for directions and going to historical sites and everything. It's brilliant.
Okay.
It's all lit, so you can't get that deep. Well, you probably could on your website, but if you wanted to go to Newgrange, how you get there, the roads, all that. Very good for that.
So it's more embedded with the tourist information. So that is a really good example and another good Irish company that's doing that. So maybe that's one to look at for you guys as well.
They're native apps as well, so they're not going to
Okay, brilliant. The example that I was thinking about is possibly if if there was a large event coming to your area, like a golf open or like the Bog Ocean Race or something for Galway, looking at coming together, developing an app around that event, and then having a hotel or accommodations tab on that. So all of the hotels are collaborative with marketing and getting a piece of the pie. But again, that app would be something that people would want to download. It would be additional information. So similar to kind of the example that you gave there. The YouTube generation, we watch on average 15 minutes of YouTube video every single day, every one of us. And there's 2 billion videos watched every day on YouTube worldwide, so it's incredible figures. Video is about to become a lot more social as well. There's a whole host of new apps coming in the pipeline, which is going to make it a lot easier for people to take and share videos while they're actually on the go. Smartphones are now coming with HD video on them, so people will actually be able to film quite easily, and then with these new apps they're going to be able to share them as well. So video is going to become even more prevalent than it is now. Again, Claire from Google talked about this yesterday as well. If I was a hotelier, I would want a YouTube video, I'd want a YouTube channel. YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. People are typing hotel names into YouTube, and if they do, what are they finding? Is it an American tourist that's maybe taken a small video and put it up on YouTube, or is it, which could be fine, which could be very good, but also wouldn't you want your own video to be up there as well, and to showcase your property? Doesn't have to cost the earth. We're filming this talk right now. My colleague Oti has a little handheld, it's a HD camera, Kodak, that costs less than €100. There's free editing tools available online. We have, on our YouTube channel, we have over 75 videos, all filmed and produced in-house, and believe it, we're nowhere near video experts by far. We just started fumbling around on this ourselves, and you will learn and get it, and it's a great way to think about the multiple use as well. You have the video on YouTube where people are searching. You can also use it on your own website. You can put it on your Facebook page, and then also there's other third-party sites like us on WeddingDates.ie. We embed hotel videos on their pages on Wedding Dates as well. So there's a lot of ways that you can use this one video if you do take a bit of time to produce one. And again, it doesn't have to be really, really expensive. So Facebook is becoming ubiquitous. It's not just a website anymore, it's an entire platform. When Facebook started, it was a website where people were sharing photos and talking to each other online. Now brands have really embraced it, they're engaging through it, they're doing promotions, but are people actually selling through it? And we're definitely going to see this more and more in the coming months, in the coming years. Facebook, we're going to be spending money on Facebook. Just it's going to happen definitely. There's a huge opportunity for hotels to embed their booking widget right onto Facebook to allow their fans to book directly if they so choose. You know, you give them that opportunity. If they're all hanging out on Facebook, you know, you should be giving them the opportunity if they do want to book the hotel to do it there as well. A great international example of this is the Trump Hotel Group internationally. They're an example of just best in class. So if you are thinking about doing it, check them out on Facebook and see what they're doing. And this is coming. It's definitely on its way. This is a really great example of magnetic marketing. So it's moving away from the really traditional push-pull model. A social networking platform like Facebook can become the conduit for connecting the right people, the right information at the right time. So that's a classic example of that right there. Does anybody know what this is? Yes. Very good. This is a QR code. And does anybody have a QR reader on their phone? Do you want to hold it up to that and see what we get?
WeddingDates.ie.
There you go. So holding that phone up to that image brought you straight to my website, WeddingDates.ie. So this is a QR code, as some of you know. Basically, it's a quick response code, that's what it stands for. It's a very intelligent barcode, it holds a huge amount of information. And basically, this is going to be the year of the QR code. If some of you haven't heard about it now, you will hear a lot more about this in 2011. It's a bridge between traditional and new media platforms. It's a great way to link print and online together. So you can generate these QR codes for free. You don't just have one, you can do one for your website, you can do one for your Facebook page, a video, your wedding brochure, whatever it is. You can create this QR code that's specific to that piece of media, and then you can actually use that on your printed material. So if you had flyers going out or a newspaper ad, you could put that QR code onto the ad, and then people, while they're reading the ad, be a call to action on there. They hold up their phone and they're brought directly to your website, and they're able to complete whatever task you want them to do, presumably book a room or book a wedding or something. So we've all seen the Harry Potter movies where they're opening the newspapers and all the images are dancing and moving. That is going to happen in our lifetime, and this is the technology that's going to make that happen. So we're not that far away from this. It's a really strong bridge between print and online media. Another example I just thought of this morning: if you are showcasing your hotel as a wedding venue, maybe you have a large function room and a bride and groom comes in off spec, they haven't planned it, they just walk in and they want to see the banqueting suite, it's not set up. So you're giving them the brochure and you're showing them photos and they're walking around and they're looking at the room. How about you had a video filmed of your banqueting suite all set up for a wedding? How about you link that to a QR code? And how about you have that QR code on a little printed in a frame on the wall right outside your banqueting suite? So now the couple are in there, they're looking around an empty banqueting suite, they're going, yeah, I like it, but I can't really imagine what it'd be like. Boom, they've got a video, they're looking at your whole banqueting suite, all set up for a wedding, they're standing in the room, they're connecting their emotional response of seeing this beautiful room, they're imagining themselves in it, and boom, you've made that wedding sale, you've closed the deal. So this is going to be huge, and there's a great opportunity for hotels to use it in a variety of means.
I heard about a US chain, I can't remember which of them, but they were putting beside every option on the menu QR code. So if you're a vegetarian and you want to know what's in, you just scan the QR code and you can read lots more about the vegan or the salad.
The nutritional information, exactly. There's a lot of ways to use it. The opportunities with this are absolutely endless, and they're free to generate, and you can do as many as you want. So that comes to the end of the new trends, and if you'll just give me 1 minute to talk about wedding dates, as I gave do we practice what we preach? I'm saying about all this new technology, what are we actually doing in wedding dates to embrace that? First up there is our little calendar plugin or calendar widget. Essentially we allow hotels to embed this calendar on their own website, on their wedding pages. So when a bride is going onto your page, she's reading about your package, she can interact with this calendar, click on a date. If the date is provisionally available, it pops up and they can contact you directly. So you can imagine a girl, she's browsing loads of different hotel pages. They all say red carpet on arrival, champagne reception. This is a really interactive little tool. It captures that sense of excitement. You can imagine, you a girl on that site going, oh my god, the date is available, I better fill out this form quick and get my name into this hotel. Bang, you've captured that inquiry, and then you have the opportunity to bring them in, give them a show around, and close the sale. Secondly, we've partnered with the Irish Hotels Federation and their website irelandhotels.com. They have a wedding section, which is irelandhotels.com/weddings. That's powered by ourselves, so any customers of Wedding Dates that are also on the IHF automatically get a full page on that site as well, so it's like 2 sites for the price of 1. And thirdly, we have our own iPhone app in development. Again, all of our properties will be listed on that iPhone app, and that will be launched in the next month, so we're really excited about that as well, hence the ridiculously large iPhone prop. So if you do want to get in touch, you will find me through all the normal social media channels. It won't be hard to track me down here at WeddingDates.ie, and thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions.
Just as a matter of interest, with all this modern technology that's coming down the line now, one of the girls back in the office is very good at it, and I stay out of it because I still kind of think a computer still just needs a delicate handling, so I'm just one of these older guys. However, she's very good at it, but how much time should you actually put into it from a hotel's point of view? If you've got a large hotel with 255 rooms and you're checking in at a desk and you want to tell everyone you're checking in at a desk, now I don't know why you want to do that, letting them know, oh, I'm here, I've arrived, but this seems
show off to your friends.
Show off to your friends. Okay, I think it's mad, but however, people are doing it. People are doing it now. The hotel then, you send that out to 500 people. You're saying then it's very possible that some of those 500 may use the hotel. How do we know this?
Well, I mean, again, how do you ever know if somebody finds a hotel? Usually you ask them, how did you hear about us? You know what, my friend, I saw it on Facebook.
Truly like that.
Yeah, word of mouth. I mean, you'll obviously be able to count clicks if you're getting additional fans, people are clicking onto your website. Again, with the Facebook deals, you'll be able to see how many people are availing of those deals. If you use QR codes, all of those codes can be tracked. So if you put a QR code on a printed ad, and the newspaper you put it out on has a circulation of 10,000 or whatever, you paid however much for that ad, you can count.
YouTube and what you're saying on Facebook, there's a limit to how much resource you can actually put into it. Or is there? Do you know what I mean? How much communication do you have with your customer? Because if you start building all this communication, sending out messages all the time, that is seriously time consuming. So do you have a suggestion as to how you construct the information you send out and as to how you should answer it?
I think that is going to be really dependent on an individual hotel level about what you want to do. I mean, maybe it's not appropriate for you to be on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and everything. Maybe you pick one or two that you want to do and you want to nail and you want to get really good at.
If you don't answer your customer, you're in trouble. So that's what I'm trying to say. So if you send out information, it has to be very genuine, because someone sends you back in information, or 400 people send you back information, you can't possibly answer them. That's what I'm trying to get around to. How much?
I think if you're in the situation where 400 people are engaging with you after a Facebook post, you're in an amazingly lucky situation. That's class.
Or whatever, you know what I mean?
Sorry?
You're building it up or whatever.
Yeah, like definitely, and it's a slow build. I've been doing this for 3 years, and if I put up a Facebook post, I might have 10 comments, I might have 2 comments. This isn't like mass. I think it really depends on the property and how much time it doesn't take that long to log in, check what people are saying. You can set up Google alerts so that you get an email straight away going, somebody mentioned you on this site or somebody's referring to you, so you actually don't have to go trawling for it every day. You can be alerted, and just at the end of the day, get back to everyone, take half an hour at the end of the day or 20 minutes, boom, I've replied to all them. And it has to be part of, I think the important thing is, again, which I said at the very beginning, is that this has to be part of your overall communication strategy. It's not just social media anymore. It's like if back in the day, if you said, if 400 people walk into my lobby, how do I talk to them all? You have to figure out a way how to get to all those 400 people if they come into your lobby. And this is the exact same. It's going to be about deciding, how you communicate across all the channels, not just, now I have to deal with Facebook and talk about everything else. You do.
You wanted to see quite a good hotel Facebook sites, listings hotels. I think are quite good. There's a good two-way communication between the hotel and its customers. I've noticed that it seems to be quite a quite a conversation going on there, which is really what it's all about.
And exactly, a different hotels approach it differently. Some of their sales and marketing people doing it. I know some hotels who have, somebody that's young in the bar that's a real whiz on it. They're managing their Facebook. I think if you give people the appropriate training and you kind of set the tone, it'll all kind of flow from that.
And the nature of Facebook as well as a crowd, it's a social response. So if you type up deal here or whatever, you're not going to have 400 people personally requesting a response from you. So you've announced it, and then the crowd kind of deals with it all.
Yes.
And then you can maybe 200 responses in saying, yeah, did great response to this. We're going to run it again next month or something. You
So
don't
you're
have to
judging it as you go on.
It's not like email. You don't have to individually speak to each individual response to your message.
Yeah.
20 people like this. Yeah. So it's like you're talking to a room, and addressing a room full of people. And there's also a number of tools you can get that allows you to interact with Twitter and Facebook and all the social things at the same time. So you type in the same message, but it goes on to all the different channels. One of those is TweetDeck, I think. TweetDeck and TweetDeck and that one. Yeah, Seismic.
Jonathan?
No, I was just going to say as well, like because of the amount of time all these different things can take, there are some that are more proactive and some that are reactive. So, for example, you can put stuff up on YouTube, you're not going to have to do a whole amount of work once it's up there. But then if you can try and target the stuff that may require more ongoing interaction around specific deals. So, for example, if you're putting up on Facebook, anybody who books within the next 24 hours gets such and such a deal at the Arsenal, I've seen those Facebooks come up, those messages, you don't mind engaging as much with those people because you're actually getting deals out of them. So if you can kind of separate it a little bit like that, say, okay, look, let's decide next month, let's get all our kind of our materials up on YouTube, bits and pieces. From then on, we can focus more on the stuff that will bring in cash. We don't mind dealing with those people.
So it's a kind of two-tier, something that's
A little
reaction
bit.
and something more information.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.